Hello again, Dave Graybill, fishingmagician.com. Today I'm at Banks Lake. Banks Lake is a huge attraction from all over the state and beyond for its fishing quality. Walleye, smallmouth bass, big whitefish. There's a long list of species that are available here on Banks Lake. Banks Lake is 27 miles long with 26,000 surface acres of water. And that gives you 150 miles of shoreline, which makes it ideal for a variety of species. We like to chase smallmouth bass. Today I've got my friend Tom Verschuren with me. We are going to do two things today. One is to show you the various boating accesses to Banks Lake. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way up to the top end. And while we're at it, we're going to cast for smallmouth bass to show you the potential and the opportunity for a great day of smallmouth bass fishing here on Banks Lake. So follow us along as we find the different boating accesses and amenities and also the smallmouth bass fishing here on Banks Lake. This rough access is at the west end of the causeway across the bottom end of Banks Lake. It's rough, shallow, but ideal for launching small craft like kayaks and other small boats. Our next stop on our tour of boating accesses on Banks Lake, I'm at the Coulee City Marina campground, RV park and marina. There's all kinds of space here for families to spend a weekend or a week. There's 55 full hookups here and lots of areas for people that want to pitch a tent. There's a great boat ramp here, there's a playground, all the amenities that you would expect from a very nice RV park. And we're just across the road from the town of Coulee City that has restaurants and other amenities. So this is a very popular spot, and I want to mention that it's on a first come, first served basis. There's no reservations available to visit this particular campground. But get here early and get a spot, because it's a great place for a base camp for an adventure on Banks Lake. Well, we didn't have to go far from the Coulee City Marina to find some quality smallmouth. We're just inside the breakwater on the far side of the marina, and this is a great place before you run up lake. If you're interested in catching smallmouth, don't pass up this spot in the spring. Our next stop on the boating accesses on Banks Lake is at the lower $1 Million Mile boat launch. As you can see, there's a concrete ramp here, but no dock. Might get your feet wet putting the boat in, but there's a good parking area here, and it's a great spot to access this area of the lake. Now we've moved up the lake about a mile or two, and we've gone up the hill through the $1 Million Mile rock cut. And as you go down the hill, you'll see on your left the entrance to the upper $1 Million Mile boating access. It's a rough launch, it's shallow, fairly narrow, but as you can see, some sizable boats have used this one. I've often used this with a 20-foot boat. Water levels determine how wide it will be and how deep, so approach with caution here. It is very shallow through the entrance all the way out to the main lake, quite a distance. There's a big mud flat actually, but there's a pit toilet here, there's dry camping. It's really a pretty popular spot about midway up the lake, and accesses some great fishing water for both walleye and directly across for smallmouth bass. Now we've stopped at Steamboat Rock State Park. There's over 5,000 acres available to the public here. There's over 100 campsites, over 160 RV hookups. There's 50,000 feet of shoreline for people to explore here at the state park at Steamboat Rock. There's an excellent ramp here, obviously, plenty of parking, and this area, we're on the Devil's Punch Bowl on Banks Lake, and oftentimes when the wind is blowing, you can find sheltered water here in Devil's Punch Bowl. Excellent fishing for walleye, bass, even burbot here in Devil's Punch Bowl, just off of Steamboat Rock State Park. Nice, largemouth. Just around the corner and toward the highway from Steamboat State Park is Northrup. This is a terrific launch. It's very popular. Huge parking area, double ramp, 2 docks, restroom facilities, and another feature is a cleaning station with water and also other restrooms there that even have a shower. People use Northrup to run way across the lake to the very popular Barker Flats, up from here to Jones Bay and Osborne Bay, and there's great fishing for walleye, bass, all from this Northrup boat launch. While I charged my batteries, we took a little time to fish the riprap here in Osborne Bay and caught a nice smallmouth. When you leave Northrup and head up the highway toward Electric City, you'll pass Jones Bay that has an area that you could easily launch a kayak or a pontoon boat or another small boat. And then as you continue up the highway, just before you cross the bridge at Osborne Bay, look to the left and you'll see the sign to the entrance to this Osborne Bay Park. And there's a great boat launch here in a kind of a protected bay, and Osborne Bay is a popular place, particularly for people that are after spiny ray species. There's everything in here from largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, crappie, perch. It's a great spot, and here's a launch right on the edge of it. So this is another great place to get access to the water here on Banks Lake. Just a short distance further up the lake from Osborne Bay is Coulee Playland. This resort offers RV hookups, great areas to camp. There's a fuel dock and a boat launch. It's the only fuel dock I'm aware of on the lake. There's also a great store there where you can get ice cream cones and coffee, and a really well-supplied tackle shop. This is a place to stop to find out what's happening on the fishing scene with the walleye fishermen and bass fishermen that frequent Banks Lake. As you can see, this is a very nice park right on the edge of the very upper end of Banks Lake. As I pan around, you'll see in the distance is the very top end of the lake. And across the way, the orange buoys mark the inlet where water is pumped in up over the hill from the Columbia River behind Grand Coulee Dam to fill this reservoir to provide irrigation water for the Columbia Basin. The upper end is also known for very good walleye fishing, as the shoreline right across from the resort has some very well-known spots to catch walleye here on Banks Lake. The last boating access with a good concrete ramp that I wanted to show you today is here at Barker Flats. Barker Flats is directly across the lake from Northrup. It's accessed via the Barker Canyon Road. It's on the highway that leads from Coulee Dam to Bridgeport. It's a narrow, kind of dusty road, but a lot of people use it because there is a vault toilet here, people dry camp, and it's really the only launch at the upper or middle point of Banks Lake on the west side. So it's a great spot for walleye fishing and bass fishing, of course. And there's also good perch fishing in this area as well. Well, it's just been a wonderful day on Banks Lake, sunny and calm. Just from one end to the other, it's just been a pleasure exploring this scenic lake and showing you the various boating accesses. We caught bass, smallmouth or largemouth, both, in every place that we stopped today. And I wanted to show you the rigs that we used. There's a lot of different methods and techniques to catch bass, but these two rigs have been very successful for Tom and I over the years fishing Banks Lake. And what you see is a cone head sinker on the top is a watermelon lizard with red flake, and then below it is a Senko in the pumpkin color with red flake, also with the cone head sinker on the top. Most people will fish without those. I'm impatient and I want those baits to be in the strike zone as soon as possible. And then we simply cast these to the shore and walk them back slowly. And over the years, we've caught a lot of smallmouth, particularly bass, using these two very simple techniques. All you need is about an 8.5 foot spinning rod and a good reel, and you're in business, and you can have a blast catching bass here on Banks Lake. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tour of scenic Banks Lake and all of the boating accesses that can be used from the bottom to the very top. Whether you're a recreational boater, a fisherman, a kayaker, any form of watercraft can get on the water here on Banks Lake at one of these fine access points. Another benefit is we caught bass within minutes of every one of these places that we stopped. So whether you're an amateur or an expert, the bass on Banks Lake will keep you busy. It's a bonanza bass fishing lake, Banks Lake. And also, I want to mention that you'll find this and other videos on the Dave Graybill channel on YouTube. And I hope you find them informative. Also, you can learn all about all of the great activities and events and other features that you can enjoy here in Grant County by visiting tourgrantcounty.com.